Thief is the name of our play. It's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Percy Jackson knew that he was different from other kids, but he never imagined that he was the son of a great god and about to go to war. At 3:27 in the morning, a 30-foot tall giant dressed in a toga and carrying a trident in his hand rises out of the ocean and strides onto the beach at Coney Island. With each step he takes, he becomes smaller and smaller. By the time he gets to the boardwalk, he's the size of a mortal. Later that night, after a long walk in Manhattan, he finds his way to the observation deck of the Empire State Building. Moonlight shines on the ominous dark clouds rolling above the horizon and on the face of the toga-clad man who is waiting for him. The man's eyes are dark and glowering. His voice is brisk and angry when he speaks.
What do you see in the sky, Poseidon?
Thunderclouds.
But no lightning. My thunderbolt my lightning bolt has been stolen.
And you think I took it? Your omnipotence is blinded, you Zeus. We're forbidden from stealing each other's power.
But our children aren't.
You're accusing my son? I haven't seen him since he was a baby. He doesn't even know who his father is.
With a wave of his hand, Zeus summons the clouds. They pour out of the sky, cloaking him with an eerie awe.
If he doesn't return it to me in 14 days, by midnight on the summer solstice, there will be war!
The Yancey Academy isn't the most modern or luxurious school in New York City, but it does have a nice swimming pool. Percy spends every free moment he has there. His friend Grover is sitting in the bleachers with his crutches propped up beside him.
7 minutes. How can you stay underwater that long?
I don't know, I just can.
Well, you better hurry up and get dressed or we'll be late for class.
I wish I could spend my whole day on the water here instead of at school at Central.
I know. Yancey's the only school where even the valedictorian flunked.
It takes Percy only a minute to towel off, pull on his clothes, and walk into the hall. A hubbub of voices is heard. Grover swings swiftly onto his crutches, struggles to keep up with Percy's long stride.
Not so fast, my man, not so fast. Remember, I'm differently able.
You mean this?
Good morning, I'm Miss Stotts. I'm your substitute English teacher today. Percy, would you like to read this quote from Shakespeare?
How do you know my name?
Percy squints at the blackboard, but the letters seem to leap out of their places, and they dance around. He shakes his head hopelessly. Mrs. Dodd looks away, annoyed. Percy's mother is washing dishes when he gets home.
Hi, Percy. How was school today?
The usual awful. You know what? I think this dyslexia thing is getting worse.
I doubt that.
Then maybe it's the ADHD. But the voices in my head. I thought this school was supposed to make me better.
I know how tough the thing must seem to you right now, but Percy, someday it will all make sense.
When, Mom? Tonight? Tomorrow? When are things going to get better?
You have to be patient, Percy. You're still young.
Gabe, Percy's stepfather, waddles into the room.
Well, what do you know? The loser's home. Get out of my way, kid. I got some serious television to watch.
Why did you marry that pig anyways?
He's not that bad.
He showers once a week, sleeps till noon,
And can't hold a job. Plus, he treats you like dirt. He's been good to us, Percy, in ways that you'll never know.
Scene 4. Okay, you want to get ready for scene 4? Yeah. The next day, Percy's history class goes on a field trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. As their teacher leads them down to the corridor, Percy hears a voice inside his head.
Be prepared, Percy. Everything's about to change. What's wrong? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
it's nothing.
Percy and Grover follow their classmates into a gallery filled with Greek artifacts. Rusty weapons and armor lined its wall. Life-size statues of the 12 Olympian gods are arranged in a circle. Mr. Brunner rolls his wheelchair into the middle of the room and begins to speak. Scene 4, got that one.
Behold the 12 Olympian gods. The big three are the brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. They attained their power when they chopped their father, Kronos, into bits.
Ew!
Zeus became the king of the gods and ruled the sky. Poseidon ruled the sea. Hades was banished to the underworld. The three have been rivals ever since, arguing and always threatening war.
You make them sound so real!
Not at all. They are myths, stories that the ancients told themselves to explain the seasons in nature. They imagined the gods to be greater versions of themselves, magnificently powerful but still prone to all the human weaknesses, like jealousy, anger, and, well, especially lust. There were several occasions when the gods would come down to earth and, how shall I put this, Percy? What is the proper name for an offspring of a human being and a god?
Demigod.
Precisely. Many of these demigods became great heroes, like Hercules and Achilles.
Mr. Brunner rolls his wheelchair in front of a frieze that depicts a warrior fighting a sea monster.
Here's a picture of another. Can you name him?
As Percy stares at the image, something astonishing happens. The Greek letters move, transforming themselves into English words. Perseus battles the sea monster?
Perseus.
Well done, Mr. Jackson. Now let's move to the Hall of the Pharaohs while I will introduce you to some Egyptian artifacts.
Not you, Percy. I have to have a word with you.
Mrs. Dodd, what are you doing here?
Oh, wait, maybe it's my turn. Okay. She leads Percy into a side gallery, ignoring the sign that says under construction. There's scaffolding against the walls, and a display case are covered with sheets.
Are we allowed in here? Did I do something wrong?
Where
is what? No, it's not.
Percy
Mrs.
looks around in
Dodge,
astonishment.
where did
Mrs.
you go?
Dodge has disappeared.
Mrs. Dodge, where did you go? Mrs. Dodge.
Following the sound of Mrs. Dodd's voice, Percy looks up at the ceiling. She is perched atop the scaffolding and has changed into a monster. Her arms and legs are leathery wings tipped with fierce talons. Her eyes blaze with rage. She swoops down, snatches Percy up in her claws.
Where
Give
is it? Release him or I'll tear you into pieces.
Suddenly, Grover and Mr. Brunner appear in the room. Hissing angrily Literally, Mrs. Dodds drops Percy onto the floor. Percy. Then she flies through the window, shattering it. Within seconds, she is just a dot in the sky.
A fury concealed in our school. I should have suspected. Now that they know who Percy is, we'll have to move him to camp immediately.
The camp? What are you talking about?
Mr. Brunner reaches into his coat and pulls out a ballpoint pen. Then he rolls his chair onto the...
Guard this well. It is a powerful weapon.
Pen?
Use it only in times of severe distress. Take him to his mother, Grover.
She'll know what to do with him. And don't let him out of your sight. Okay, C5.
Are we there yet?
A few hours later, Grover, Sally, and Percy are driving into the mountains.
Are we there yet?
Now, where are you?
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm just playing a game.
Where are you taking me, Mom?
To a camp for special people.
I get it. Another place for losers.
No, not at all. Percy, this all has to do with your father.
My father? I can't even remember anything about him.
He loved you, Percy. Leaving you was the most difficult thing he ever did, but he didn't have any choice.
She would have said more, but suddenly a cow drops out of the sky. Then another.
Just years of raining cows.
Sally tries to keep her car on the road, but then a monster, a great, horrid thing, appears right in front of them. The monster rips the door off the car, reaches in and grabs Sally.
Run, Percy!
This is your
What's going on? Put my mother down.
As she struggles in the monster's arms, Sally begins to turn into light. You gotta get over here a little closer. Then she fades away.
No!
The pen, Percy. Remember the pen.
Percy fumbles for the pen that his teacher had given him. When he clicks it, it turns into a gigantic sword. Grief-stricken and terrified, Percy fights the monster. Oh.
Go, Percy. That's right. Take him down.
The battle is for a long time until Percy plunges the sword into its heart.
That was one nasty minotaur.
I can't believe it. I killed it?
Grover kicks off his shoes as he speaks.
I must be seeing things now. Grow for your feet. They look like donkey hooves.
They're goat fetus, if you must know.
I don't understand.
The politically correct term for what I am is a share. And you're a demigod. But if we don't get out of here, what we're both going to be is dead. Camp Half-Blood is a place where they train people like you to become heroes, to harness your powers.
Yeah, I'm seeing my powers. My powers?
Go ask that Minotaur if you don't believe you got powers. Or better yet, ask him. Welcome to Camp Half-Blood.
Mr. Brunner, you're a senator?
And you, Percy, are the son of Poseidon. Your adventures are just beginning.
What happened to Zeus's lightning bolt and to poor Percy's mother? Will the gods go to war? To find out, read the book Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, due in theaters February 12, 2010.